So we're going to start a new chapter book. This is the Whodunit Detective Agency, and it's called the Diamond Mystery. We're going to learn about a new term called the red herring, and it's something that authors do sometimes to confuse the reader. We'll talk about that more, but today just sit back and enjoy as I read this book. There are some good pictures inside, so I'm going to share those with you too. It's really important that you're listening and you're not distracted. So if you have a television on or something, you're in a place that's kind of busy right now with your brothers and sisters, you might want to move so you can just listen. Okay? The Diamond Mystery. Here's the title page. Here's the first picture. Oh, I see lots of jewels. The Diamond Mystery. The books in the Whodunit Detective Agency series are set in the charming little town of Pleasant Valley. It's a sort of close-knit community where nearly everyone knows one another. The town and the characters are all fictional, of course, or are they? The main characters are Jerry and Maya, and they are classmates and close friends, and they run a small detective agency together. Here's a map of the town. Pleasant Valley looks very pleasant. Oh, there's a hotel. We had a hotel in our last couple of mysteries ago. There's a museum. Turn it this way, we can see what some of those things are. Okay, I'm going to continue reading. Here are the people. So there's Jerry and Maya. There's someone named Mohammed Carrot, and that kind of carrot, C-A-R-A-T, is a way that they determine the size of diamonds. So I wonder if his name is a hint. There is someone named Vivian Leander, Danny Braveheart, and Luke Smith. So there's Danny, there's Luke, Vivian, and then of course Jerry and Maya at the top. Chapter 1, the Detective's Office. The streets were empty in the little town of Pleasant Valley. At 3:30 on a chilly February afternoon, it was already growing dark. A late winter storm had left the town slick with freezing rain. There was a light shining through the basement window of a small house just east of town. Inside, two children enjoyed the cozy warmth of the basement. Their names were Jerry and Maya, classmates and good friends from school. They were off from school for winter break. Most of their friends were charging down the sledding hill, but neither Jerry nor Maya felt like joining them. They had something else on their minds. I have a feeling that something exciting is going to happen soon, said Jerry hopefully. Mumbled Maya. She had her nose in a book, as usual. Oh, I love it. Look, she's got a nose in her book. Oh, there's Maya right there. That is Jerry. The two classmates had set up a small office in Maya's basement, and they sat in two old armchairs that stood next to a table piled high with books. More volumes of thick books, Maya's dad's detective stories, lined the walls. Maya and Jerry liked to sit in this room and read. During winter break, they wanted to learn everything about how thieves and police officers worked. You see, Maya and Jerry were not just friends. They were partners as well. Together, they ran a detective agency, the Whodunit Detective Agency. A detective, of course, is a type of police officer who wears regular clothes instead of an official uniform. A detective carries out investigations and spies on suspects, takes photographs, and looks through binoculars. In the end, a good detective solves the case and catches the criminal. Here is some detective agency equipment. Take a look at those things. Why would a detective need those things? I wish we had a really exciting case, said Maya with a sigh. Maybe all of the thieves are on winter break too, said Jerry. Maya opened a tidy cabinet to make sure everything inside was well organized. It held everything they needed for their detective work. A camera with a flash to take photos in the dark, a pair of binoculars to spy on things from far away, a magnifying glass to check for fingerprints, a mirror to peer around corners, several false noses and wigs to disguise themselves, a few flashlights to use when it was dark, a safe to protect the money they had earned. But their safe was currently empty because nothing exciting had happened for a long time. But once it did, Jerry and Maya were ready. They had put up signs all around Pleasant Valley. So there's a sign they had put up. On nearly every streetlight and door, they had hung posters that said this: the Whodunit Detective Agency, now accepting exciting and dangerous assignments. Lost wallets and runaway cats recovered. Low prices, tax included. So while Jerry and Maya waited for an exciting case, they researched detective stories. Maya was just about to fill Jerry in on the book she was reading. It was a story about a dog napper who stole dogs tied up outside stores and then called the dog's owners to demand ransom for the poor pooches. Maya was upset just thinking about it. That was one criminal she would really like to catch. But before she had a chance to describe the case to Jerry, there was a knock at the door. Jerry and Maya looked at each other in surprise. Who could it be? Chapter 2. A desperate man seeks help. Here's the picture that goes with chapter 2. Oh, that's the man whose last name was Carat, C-A-R-A-T. So if you had a 1 carat diamond, that'd be a pretty good sized diamond. That's how they measured diamonds. I just think it's funny that that's his last name. And this book is called The Diamond Mystery. So let's listen to chapter 2. Before Maya could move an inch, Jerry leaped up, ran up the stairs, and opened the front door. Standing on the steps was a man with a bushy black mustache wearing a striped wool hat and wet shoes. It was Mohammed Carat, the richest man in all of Pleasant Valley. Mohammed Carat owned the jeweler's store on Church Street. His store was famous all across the country, from New York to Los Angeles, for its spectacular diamonds, rings, earrings, and other fancy jewelry. What could the jeweler possibly want with Jerry and Maya? So there he is again. Notice the wet shoes, and there's puddles on the floor. Jerry showed Mr. Carat down to the small office in the basement. "Welcome, Mr. Carat. Please sit down." And Maya gesturing towards the empty chair. Mohammed Carat plunked down in the armchair and removed a handkerchief from his coat pocket. He was sweating, and Jerry and Maya could see that he was nervous. "What can we do for you, Mr. Carat?" asked Jerry politely. "I'm desperate, just desperate for help," began Mohammed Carat. "I saw your poster on the streetlight outside my store. Are you still accepting cases?" Maya and Jerry nodded and eagerly took out their pens and notebooks. "As you probably know, I've owned a jewelry store on Church Street for many years. And business has been booming," started Mohammed Carat. "People come to my quiet little store here in Pleasant Valley from far and wide. But now it seems my luck has run out, he said, and he blew his nose into his handkerchief. What do you mean? Asked Jerry. My trust has been violated, that's what. I mean, exclaimed Mohammed Carrot. One of the people working in my store is stealing my diamonds. I'm sure of it. In the past month, 5 extremely valuable gems have disappeared, and I have no idea how. I'm a very cautious man. I require everyone who works in the store to empty their bags and pockets before they go home, but I never find anything. Nothing has been carried out of the store. I'm absolutely certain of that. What do the police think? Asked Maya. The police have been investigating and keeping watch since the very first diamond disappeared, but they don't have a suspect. That said, they can't do anything until the thief makes a mistake and gives himself or herself away. Mohammed loosened the tie around his neck. Soon I'll be ruined and will have to close my store, he sniffled. Without my famous diamonds, my customers will quickly lose interest in my jewelry and my store altogether. Jerry and Maya could see that Mr. Carrot was really upset. This is a tricky situation, said Jerry, scratching his nose with his pen. So I guess he's doing this. Tricky situation. That helped him think when he did that. The police can't do any more to help, and they don't have a suspect. Is that right? Absolutely right, replied Mohammed Carrot. But I have an idea. I'll hire the 2 of you to work in my store. While you're working, you can secretly keep an eye on my employees and tip me off to any suspicious behavior. You can help me find who has been stealing my diamonds. Are you interested? Please say you are. Maya and Jerry exchanged a quick glance. We'll start tomorrow. Okay, we have one more short chapter, and then that's all I'm going to read. I want you really thinking about if there are any clues that you're coming up with. I think we'll read part of this chapter. Just anything you think that makes you go, And if you hear something, write it down in your e-learning journal. Chapter 3, the investigation begins. The next day, the sun was shining brightly. Maya and Jerry each packed a bag containing their detective kits and took the bus to Church Street. They got off in front of the hotel just down the road from Mohammed Carrot's famous jewelry store between the cafe and the post office. Jerry and Maya walked to the old church so they could get a look at the store from across the street. The store was at street level, and Mr. Carrot owned the 2 floors that were right above it. So, there's a diamond thief in there somewhere, said Jerry. Are you scared? Oh, come on. Let's get started, scoffed Maya, dragging Jerry toward the store. They crossed the street and opened the front door. A bell chimed, ding dong, as they came in. Maya looked around carefully when she saw an elderly assistant who asked if she could help them. When Maya asked to speak to the owner, the assistant led the 2 detectives to an office at the back of the store. The assistant knocked on the door to the office. Come in, they heard Mohammed Carrot call. Maya opened the door, and Mohammed Carrot, he stood up from behind his desk. He walked toward them with his arms outstretched. I'm so glad to see you. I'm so glad to see you, he cried. Then he lowered his voice and whispered, Another diamond disappeared yesterday. That's the 6th one. I can't understand how they do it. I need your help now more than ever. Jerry noticed the elderly woman lingering in the doorway. She seemed to be listening curiously. You may go back to the front, Vivian, said Mohammed Carrot, shutting the door behind her. Let's get started, said Jerry as they settled down on a big brown sofa. Could you tell us about the people who work here and what a typical day in the store is like? Mohammed Carrot took out his handkerchief and blew his nose loudly. He walked to his desk, desk, opened one of the drawers, and took out a few photos. The store opens at 10 a.m. and closes at 6 p.m. At some point during that time, a diamond disappears. The whole thing is impossible to explain. I'm going mad, he yelled. Mr. Carrot, please try to calm down, said Maya. Excuse me, Mr. Carrot said as he collected himself. Other than myself, there are 3 people who work here. So here's a picture, I believe, of Vivian, the elderly lady that works at the jewelry store. So I'm thinking she has to be a suspect because she works there. Mohammed Carrot passed out one of the photos to Jerry and Maya. Vivian Leander, store assistant. You've already met her. She's the one who showed you to my office. Vivian works in the front of the store and helps the customers. She's been with the business for many years and has always done an excellent job. But she ran into some trouble last year. Her house burned down, and I believe her insurance company is refusing to pay her any money, explained Mohammed Carrot. Apparently, Vivian was behind on home insurance payments, so now she's short on cash. She's a suspect. She has a motive because she needs money. You might want to add that to your list of suspects, Vivian. Just last week, she came into my office and asked for a raise. I would be happy to help her, but as I'm sure you can understand, there's no way I can afford to give anyone a raise right now. Jerry scratched his nose with the end of his pen and made a note in his notebook. Suspect's motive. Vivian Leander needs money. So he wrote that down. Mohammed Carrot passed him another photo. So here's the next suspect. Do you see that guy right there? Wonder what his name is. Danny Braveheart. Danny Braveheart works on the second floor just above the store, he continued. He cleans and polishes the jewelry before it's sold. To be honest, Danny is a bit grumpy for my taste, but he's always on time and he keeps things in order. He's a trustworthy employee. Danny's dad actually owned this store years and years ago, Mohammed Carrot went on. But his dad had financial problems and had to sell it. That's when I bought the store. Otherwise, Danny would be the boss here today. So our next suspect, Danny Braveheart. Does he have a motive? He was supposed to get the store until his dad ran into some problems. So he doesn't have the store. Mr. Carrot bought it. Jerry didn't have to scratch his nose this time. He simply wrote down, suspect's motive. Danny Braveheart wants to take over the store. So that's what he wrote down. And here is a picture of Danny Braveheart. So he cleans, polishes jewelry, gets everything ready. Probably fixes some things. Mohammed Carrot passed Jerry and Maya the third and final photo. So here's our next suspect, somebody that works in the store. Luke Smith. Luke Smith works on the top floor of our building. He cuts the diamonds and sets them into elegant rings and necklaces. Luke hasn't worked here very long, but he's careful and very good at his job. He's worked in the jewelry business for many years, and his previous employers were very pleased with him. Luke likes nice clothes and fast sports cars. He bought a new car just last week, actually. Mohammed Carrot laughed. You should have seen Danny Braveheart's face when Luke showed off his brand new car. Danny looked at the car with disgust, and then at Luke with loathing. 380 horsepower, Luke had bragged and patted on the hood of the car, to which Danny had replied, you only need 1 horsepower if you choose the right one, and he stormed off. None of us, Vivian, Luke, nor I, understood what he meant, continued Mohammed Carrot. Danny was definitely in one of his grumpy moods, but like I said, Luke Smith, he's a nice guy. He's into fitness, he's always going for a jog and carrying around an apple to snack on. Jerry wrote this in his book. Luke Smith has plenty of money. Where does it come from? So here's Luke Smith. So he's the one that puts the diamonds into the rings. He hasn't worked there very long. All right then, I think that's all you need to know, said Mohammed Carrot as he sprang up from the sofa. Now, I will introduce you to the staff. So now they're going to get to meet those people. So in your notebook, I want you to write down who the suspects are. If you need to rewind in the video, do that and put what their name is, why they might do it, what's their motive. Okay, write it in your e-learning notebook.